Hi, I'm Brenda. My parents were bankers. They taught me to be modest and fair. There was nothing special about me. The only thing that ever made me stand out was my love for horses. Those amazing animals had always fascinated me, and I'd been doing equestrian sports ever since I was a kid. My horseback riding teacher's name was Eva. She was a real lady, elegant and kind. I considered Eva my mentor, and I trusted her with all my secrets. Eva's husband, a wealthy entrepreneur called Omar, was her exact opposite, rude and cruel. The only person he loved other than himself was his bratty son, Kareem. Omar treated his wife terribly. Kareem was part of the same club as me. I saw how spoiled he was, and how little respect he had for everyone around him, even his own mother. Mom, help me get on this dumb horse. Hurry up. Just a second, sweetie. I felt very sorry for Eva. She was a good person, and she didn't deserve to be treated like that. Why did I tell you about that weird family? You're about to find out. But before that, please like this video and subscribe to the Private Diary channel. As I said, there was nothing special about me or my life. I had no idea that soon my world would be turned completely upside down. I was getting ready for a horseback riding competition that was coming up in 2 weeks. However, there was another important date before that, my birthday. After I blew out the candles on my birthday cake, my parents said they had a surprise for me. I thought they'd prepared some sort of amazing gift, but I was in for a disappointment. Brenda, you're old enough to know the truth now. We adopted you when you were just a baby. It doesn't change anything though. You're still our precious daughter. I laughed because I thought it was just a bad joke, but Mom and Dad looked serious. Who are my biological parents then? The orphanage couldn't tell us that. I'm sorry. Although that news shocked me, I was still grateful to my parents for their honesty. I tried to move on, but I couldn't stop thinking about finding my biological parents. One day, Eva noticed I was miles away during practice and asked me why I was so distracted. I didn't hesitate to tell my coach about my worries. Oh, it's good you found out the truth. Maybe looking for your biological parents is not the best idea though. What if you found out something upsetting? Eva thought I should just forget about the whole thing, but I refused to do that. After practice, I went to the orphanage I'd apparently been left at and tried to figure out something about my relatives. However, the teacher there coldly told me they had no right to disclose information. I wasn't about to give up that easily. I waited for nightfall, snuck into the orphanage, and found a folder with my name on it in their archive. There was no info about my biological parents in it, but I learned something else that blew my mind. What? I have a twin sister? It said she had been adopted by a family from a neighboring town. I even found their address. As soon as I saw it, I realized I had to meet my sister and then team up with her to find out our real parents. My adoptive parents always supported me, so when I said I was going to the neighboring city to see my sister, they didn't try to stop me or talk me out of it. Don't forget about the competition. Be careful, Brenda. I packed everything I needed and I got on a bus. A few hours on the road and I was there. I found my sister's house. It turned out to be tiny. My twin must have been adopted by poor people. My heart was beating like crazy. Finally, I plucked up the courage and I knocked on the door. My jaw dropped when a girl opened the door. She looked like a rock star. She gave me an indifferent look and blew a gum bubble. What is it? It seemed my twin and I were as different as night and day. I felt a bit lost. But you know what the weirdest thing was? I could have sworn I'd seen her before, even though we lived in different cities. I smiled and I told the girl that we were twins and she was actually living with her adoptive parents. I know this is shocking, but now we can team up and find our biological mom and dad. My sister's name was Mia. Her reaction surprised me. Instead of bursting into tears of joy and pulling me into a bear hug, she just smiled humorlessly. Did you really only just find out about that? I always knew I was adopted. So what? I don't give a damn if you're my sister, and I'm definitely not interested in looking for my biological parents. If that's all, get lost. What was her problem? Did she not care about me at all? I was disappointed, but I gave her the address of the motel where I was staying, just in case. You can find me there if you change your mind. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. She slammed the door in my face, and I trudged back to the hotel. Dang it, that was not how I imagined our reunion would go. The next morning, I decided coming there had been a mistake. I packed and was about to head home, but before I could leave the motel, I saw Mia. Brenda, I'm so glad you're still here. I didn't sleep a wink last night, and I realized I do want to find our parents after all. We should go right now. It was like Mia had been replaced overnight. She was almost too enthusiastic and energetic. My sister grabbed my backpack and dragged me to the nearest bus stop. Chop chop, move it. She was acting weird, but it only made me like her more. Besides, I was happy Mia agreed to team up with me after all. As we walked to the bus stop, she kept looking around nervously as if she was afraid of being followed. She calmed down soon after we got on the bus though. While we were driving back to my city, Mia told me a bit about her adoptive parents. They're cool. They're in a rock band and they love me a lot. You haven't seen them because they're performing at a music festival. I'm glad you were raised by such good people. I introduced my twin to my adoptive parents. It surprised Mom and Dad how different Mia and I were too. Still, they were nice enough to let her stay at our place. My sister and I came up to my room and I tried to tell her how I planned to find our parents, but Mia interrupted me. We've got plenty of time for that. Tell me about yourself first. Who are you friends with? To be honest, I'm not very popular and I don't really have any friends. What the heck, sis? You should get out more. By the way, are you being bullied at school? Just let me know and I'll deal with them. There actually was a nasty bully in my class called Steve who was always bothering me. I told Mia about him. It's alright, I'm used to ignoring that jerk. Let's talk about our parents. Why are you so obsessed with that? We can do that later. Let's teach Steve a lesson first. Arguing with a Spitfire like Mia was useless, so I hesitantly agreed. Now we're talking. Show me where he lives. Your cool sister will teach him a lesson. Of course, it felt nice that Mia was trying to take care of me in her own way. However, I didn't like her methods at all. She wanted to break Steve's window, crawl into his room, and prank him. Luckily, I managed to talk her out of that. Wait, that's illegal! Do you want to go to jail? You're such a goody two-shoes. Okay, I'll think of something else. She snorted and simply knocked on his door. When Steve stepped out onto the porch with a cheeky grin, Mia boldly declared that she was my sister, and if he kept bothering me, he'd have to deal with her. Got it, chicken. Yes, ma'am. I'd never seen that bully look so spooked before. Mia, that was awesome! I'll teach you how to stand up for yourself. Now that we've dealt with Steve, we can start looking for Mom and Dad. Let's go to the clinic where we were born. They could probably tell us something about our biological parents, right? There's no need to rush, Brenda. We can do that later. I heard that your classmates are throwing a party tonight. Let's go and find you some friends. Even though I was against it, Mia dragged me to the party of the most popular kids at school. I wanted to sink through the floor. It was so awkward. I huddled in the corner and hoped that no one would notice me. However, my sister got on with the other popular students like a house on fire. She forgot all about me while hanging out with my cool classmates. That's when it finally dawned on me. For some reason, Mia didn't want to help look for our parents. She was standing in my way instead of helping me. I tried to talk with my sister a few more times, but she ignored me. So I left the party and I went to the equestrian club to practice some more. Once I got there, I saw a nasty scene. Omar was scolding his wife for being a poor teacher to their son. Kareem was apparently still terrible at horse riding. I teach Kareem the same way I teach all my students, but he just throws temper tantrums. Don't you dare slander our son. He's the most talented student here and he'll no doubt win that competition. You should be trying harder, Eva. Kareem stuck his tongue out at his mom and then he got in a car with his father and they drove off. Eva looked like she was on the verge of tears, but as soon as she saw me, she beamed and acted like everything was fine. Oh, Brenda, you haven't stopped by for a while. I was getting worried. I'd always enjoyed having heart-to-hearts with her, so I told Eva I'd found my sister. I should be on cloud 9, but I'm not. After all, my twin and I couldn't be more different. When Eva found out I had a twin sister, she was so shocked she didn't even blink for what felt like minutes. But then she snapped out of it. Sorry, that took me back. Don't worry about your sister. You just need to get to know each other better. I felt worlds better after talking to Eva. When I came home, Mia pounced on me. Why the heck did you leave the party? I was trying to find friends for you. I didn't ask you to do that. Anyway, I had to practice at the equestrian club. Mia got a crazy gleam in her eyes when she heard that. To be honest, for a second she looked so furious it scared me. Don't even think about going to that club again. That's a dumb hobby anyway. That was the last straw for me. I lost my temper too and demanded she stopped bossing me around. We fought late into the night. The next morning, I was woken up by a call from Steve. It turned out that he wanted to get back at Mia after she threatened him and tried to dig up some dirt on her. In the end, he succeeded. Your sister is a wanted criminal. Don't tell me you didn't know. You're obviously helping her hide from police. What are you talking about? You've got an overactive imagination. What, do you think I'm lying? Check this out. He sent me a link and I saw a bolo on Mia. Steve was right. My sister was a wanted criminal. She'd apparently smashed the windows in a mall in her city and trashed the place. What a moronic prank. The puzzle pieces finally fit together. I stormed into the guest room and I gave Mia a piece of my mind. You liar! I know why you came here. It was because you needed a place to lay low. You don't care care about finding our parents. I see you found out about my idiotic prank. I did, and you know what? I don't need your help. I'll go to the hospital and find our parents by myself. You'd just be getting in my way anyway. Brenda, you're making a mistake. Trust me. Trust you? Never again. Fool me once. I stormed out of the house and I headed to the clinic where we were born. Once I got there, I questioned everyone I saw, from the security guard to the chief surgeon. Twin girls were born here 16 years ago. Please help me find out who their parents were. Girl, who let you into the operating room? Get out of here right now. Everyone I talked to told me to go away and that they had no right to disclose such information. After a few hours, I gave up and I was about to leave with nothing when a nurse suddenly ran up to me. Wait a minute. Your name's Brenda, right? I was working the day you and your sister were born. I might get fired for this, but let me tell you a secret. I listened with bated breath, and that woman told me that right after I was born, Mia and I had been sent to an orphanage because our parents didn't want us, and our parents' names were Eva and Omar. That was impossible. Could Eva really be my biological mom? I hadn't recovered from the shock after hearing that news yet when the nurse turned my world on its head again. I already told your sister Mia the same thing a couple of years ago. Why didn't she tell you? What the what? Had Mia known who our parents were the whole time? Why hadn't she said anything? My sister suddenly appeared out of nowhere and put her hand on my shoulder. Brenda, I've been putting off our search to spare you this pain. I didn't want you to know that our parents got rid of us because they didn't want us. She said that she'd come to my city a couple of years ago. After finding mom and dad, she realized they adored their son, Kareem, and didn't care about the daughters they'd given up at all. I was spitting mad, and I didn't introduce myself to Eva and Omar. Then I found you, and I realized we were completely different. You were standing at a bus stop and reading a book all prim and proper. I was afraid I'd be a bad influence on you, so I didn't say anything and I just went back home. As I listened to her, I remembered something. 2 years ago, I met the eyes of a girl dressed like a rock star. She was staring at me pretty intensely, so that's why Mia had seemed familiar to me when I first saw her. She was telling the truth. I need some time to think. I want to be left alone, please. I ran out of the clinic and I wandered the streets mindlessly for a long time until I found myself at the equestrian club. It surprised me how resentful I suddenly felt. As soon as I saw Eva, I blew up on her. You're a terrible person. You abandoned your daughters and lied to my face all these years, pretending to be an understanding teacher. I hate you. Eva's eyes were wide as saucers. She pretended she didn't know what I was talking about, but I didn't care anymore. Exhausted, I came back home. Mia met me there. Brenda, I've thought a lot, and I need to go back to my hometown and be punished for the things I did. But before that, I wanted to cheer for you at the competition. No matter how crazy the world gets, you shouldn't give up on your dreams. I'm proud of you, sis. I'm glad we met. Her speech touched me to the core. We both burst into tears like heroines of some dramatic video on the private diary channel and spent a long time hugging each other. Mia and I spent the night talking, and the next morning I felt full of energy again. My sister was right. I couldn't give up now, so I headed to the competition. The most wonderful people in the world were cheering for me, my adoptive parents and my sister. Winning was just as easy as breathing. Meanwhile, our brother Kareem fell flat on his face, literally and figuratively. Ah! Help me up! It's all your fault that I lost! I was hugging my family when I heard Omar yelling at Eva and demanding she help their son. Everyone's eyes bugged out when instead of listening to him, Eva went ballistic. You lying bastard! How could you do this to me and our daughters? I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. With those words, Eva came up to Mia and me and begged us for forgiveness with tears in her eyes. Girls, I didn't know about you because your father made me believe you died at birth. It turned out Omar wanted an heir and wasn't interested in having daughters. He deceived Eva and left us at an orphanage. After a while, they finally had a son. However, Omar spoiled Kareem so much that he grew up weak and helpless. You two are strong and beautiful. I hope that one day you'll find it in your hearts to forgive me. It was a huge shock for all of us, but life went on. Eva left her overbearing husband. Mia went back home and did community service as punishment. We still live with our adoptive parents, but we often see each other. It took time, but Mia and I forgave our biological mother. Sometimes the three of us hung out together. Our biological father turned out to be such a scumbag we didn't even talk about him though. Did you like my story? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.